Hello, this is a review for the Mugen Power extended battery and back for the HTC Rezound. It's rated at 4,000 milliamp hours. Whether or not it actually has that much power, it's kind of debatable. But anyway, let's compare the three batteries here. What we have is the Mugen Power extended battery, the OEM extended battery that comes from HTC themselves, and then the original OEM battery that came with your phone. You'll notice there's a distinct difference in the size and the weight of the original versus both extended batteries. Both extended batteries add about twice the amount of thickness and mass. There's not too much of a difference between the two extended batteries. The Mugen Power is slightly thicker, such that you can't use the case for the OEM extended back with the Mugen battery. And it is slightly, ever so slightly heavier, but for the most part they're very comparable in their thicknesses and their mass, as well as the backs. As you can see, they're both very similar. The thickness of the OEM extended back at its absolute thickness is about the exact same thickness as the Mugen Power back. It's just that the OEM extended back is offset, whereas Mugen Power's is almost completely symmetrical. Both of them have a good amount of grip to the back. Mugen Power's back has grip that goes all the way around, extending even to the sides. There's a slight difference in the cutouts. Let's look here. The camera hole on the OEM extended back is bigger than the one on the Mugen back. However, the camera pictures are taking just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it provides even a little more protection, if you will. There is also a difference in the cutout of the external speakers. The external speaker on the Mugen Power extended back is significantly smaller, and this will have an effect on the sound. Also on the bottom there's a small hole here that is not present on the Mugen Power extended back. I believe that might be for one of the noise canceling mics, but other than that they're very comparable. So let's talk about the pros and the cons of the Mugen Power battery. Let's first start off by talking about the cons. The most obvious is that it's going to be a muffled external speaker. You'll have to turn up the volume of your phone to really hear your ringer, or like I did, you pick a louder ringer. So in the case of getting notifications or getting phone calls, that can easily be solved by doing that. However, if you really like to listen to your music while you from your external speaker, or if you need navigation from like Google Maps, that might be a problem. It does have a reduced volume, and it's a little difficult to hear the navigation lady when you're using it. Another of the cons is right now there are no official accessories or cases for this phone with the Mugen Power extended back in. It will not work in the shell and holster combo. It will not work in the car adapter that you use for navigation. I've tried it. There's only one case that will actually halfway fit, and this is a sort of a cutout TPU case that I got from htpedia.com. It's really designed for the OEM extended back, but you can fit it on there with the Mugen Power extended back. It's just that it's slightly warped and where the ports are, but they're accessible. It's not a big deal, and it actually adds a little more grip to it. So this is the only case you can really use with it. Another of the cons, it's not really the fault of Mugen Power, it's more the fault of HTC. It has to do with the orientation of the charging port and the volume rockers. They're on different sides. The kickstand is made so that when you're in use, the volume rockers are on top, which blocks the charging ports, so you cannot charge and watch like Netflix with the kickstand at the same time. It just falls over, or it's lopsided. But once again, that's not Mugen Power's fault. Another of the cons is in the price. As of right now, you can get this Mugen Power extended battery and back for I think $92 if you include one of their discounts, and it's free shipping. But that's about 2 or 2.5 times the cost of the OEM extended battery. Another of the cons is you have to prime it about 4 or 5 times. You have to completely overcharge up to 100% and then leave it on the charger for several hours and then deplete it down to like a 10% or very low, and then charge it up again. Do that 4 or 5 times, and once you've primed it, then the battery is properly, it will be properly recharged. And along with this, another of the cons is that sometimes the battery percentage doesn't read exactly correct. What happens is, even after you've primed it, when you charge it up to 100%, it's not really at 100%. You have to leave it on the charger for like another hour or two to really fully charge up the phone. So what will happen is, if even after you primed it, if you charge it up to 100% and then immediately take it off, you'll notice that the battery percentage that is reported by some of these battery widgets, it will drop from like 99% down to 90% within a few minutes, and then once it gets down to like 90%, it then reports it accurately. What is happening is you really didn't fully charge the battery. But other than that, there's not really too many other cons that I can think about for this phone, or for this, excuse me, this battery. So enough of the negativities, let's talk about the pros. First of all the calls sound just as good as with the OEM extended back, and all of the radios, the LTE, Wi-Fi, and GPS radios are all just fine, and the LTE speeds are just the same as with the OEM extended back. The biggest advantage is that it lasts about 15% longer than the OEM extended battery. I've determined this through anecdotal evidence of using it, as well as a controlled study where I looked at, I watched 4 episodes of South Park on Netflix using the LTE network after fully recharging each of the batteries. And yes, after 4 episodes, the Mugen Power battery had about 15% more than the extended battery for the OEM. So yes, you do get about 15% longer battery life. It's not 4,000 milliamp hours, because if you did the math, this is 2750 milliamp hours, this is 4,000 milliamp hours, but this lasts only about 15% longer. Still, pretty impressive. Another of the pros is that it has good grip and it's very comfortable to hold. Another of the pros is that there's no creaking, or there's much less creaking. When you put this on and you squeeze the sides, you can hear a little bit of creaking. Most of that has been eliminated with the back for the Mugen Power. An unexpected benefit is that the Mugen Power battery runs a few degrees cooler than the OEM extended battery. For example, when I use navigation with this, I can get it up to about 44, 45 degrees centigrade, whereas this one runs about 40 degrees. Same thing when I'm watching Netflix on either Wi-Fi or 4G. It always runs a couple degrees cooler with the Mugen Power battery. Theoretically, this could lead to a longer battery life, because batteries generally last longer when they don't run so hot. Another of the pros is that Mugen Power seems to have pretty good customer service. For example, if you were to accidentally break the kickstand, you just go onto their website and tell them, hey, something happened to it, and they'll send you a replacement back. I even complained about the kickstand, saying that it was kind of flimsy, and they said that they were improving it, and so they sent me a replacement back, but it turned out to be identical. So I have a free second back should I accidentally break this. It doesn't look like it's going to break, but if I ever did, now I've got another extended back for my Mugen Power battery. But overall, pretty good customer service. Now, you ultimately have to decide whether or not you think it's worth the $92 to get another 15% of battery life versus the OEM extended battery. That decision will be up to you.